Amy Benami and Emily deAyala discussing the impact of the books 50 Shades of Grey and, of course, now the movie. 100 million books sold, more than 50 languages that it was translated into. But in one country in particular, if you want it, you might have to sneak it in. Anna is in our audience today. Hi, Anna.
Hello.
Okay, so what's going on with 50 Shades of Grey, the book, in your... What country are you from?
I come from Norway.
Okay.
And they're going to show it in Norway also on Saturday. But there is a lot of controversy about the film. Many have bought the books, and many have already bought the tickets to go to the movie.
Were the books banned at one time?
No, no.
Okay, not banned.
They were not.
Yeah.
But a lot of writers now have already seen the movie, and they are just putting their thumbs down. For quality reasons, and some psychiatrists have said that they call it the 50 Shades of abuse.
Oh, 50 Shades of Abuse. Okay.
Yes.
One of the things, Dr. Benami, that we mentioned some of the reasons why you felt that way in the study, but you also say that women who read Shades are at risk of...
Yeah, so we did a study where we analyzed women who read 50 Shades and women who didn't. We found that women who read 50 Shades of Grey were much more likely than women who didn't to be at risk for having a verbally abusive partner, a partner who stalked them, binge drinking, eating disorders, as well as having a high number of sexual partners. So clear adverse risk for women who are reading these books.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, Emily, I know with you, if somebody is at risk for that, I can't see how the book would put them at. I would think that they started that way.
I did have a chance to look at the study, and one thing that you did note in your paper was that you were unable to identify temporality, meaning you don't know whether these women had already engaged in some of these behaviors prior to reading the book, or if that happened afterwards. So I think that's really important to keep in mind.
Because out of 100 million women reading, some of them were already compromised when they got that.
Exactly, and we have to consider the age population. These were mostly college-age people who, more than the general population, may be engaging in things like, you know, binge drinking and that sort of thing.
And I know I do a lot of volunteer work at Better Women's Shelters, and I could see here where this messaging, Anastasia gets into this relationship and she changes him. I can tell you, every single one of the women at the shelter, even though they've had horrible things done to them, there's this fantasy in the back of their mind, well, maybe if I give it one more try, I can change him and he'll come back and get me. So I know that was kind of a concern as well.
Right.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. We have Martin. Good morning.
Hi, Deborah. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Deborah, it really concerns me that society is so accepting of such a deviant form of accepting, and to me, the beauty of marriage, the sacrament of marriage, and accepting sex out of the bond of marriage. I lived the gay lifestyle for 30 years. I do not live that lifestyle anymore, and it blows me away how I see the deviance from that lifestyle blending over into the straight lifestyle.
All right, so I'm going to have Emily address this, because this is how we're so conflicted over this thing called sex. I mean, obviously, it is a natural thing. We have to procreate. That it is a normal, natural thing. And I think what happened over the decades or centuries is that we applied some type of code to it that when you have something that's innate in you, you know, that it doesn't apply. So that's why we're so conflicted. It is something that we naturally would do. Marriage or not, but then we have our social and moral code attached to it, and that's where we kind of get confused.
It gets really tricky. I wouldn't say this opinion probably represents the general population in terms of the pathology of being homosexual. Those kinds of things have been taken out of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, as well as some of the, he used the word deviant, but these are a lot of, for people, just sexual preferences. And even if you really take a look at the Bible, there are references in the Bible of women's subordination to men and even violence against women. I mean, I'm sure if you, applied some of your research analysis to even looking at such a commonly read text as that, even as much good is in there, it does outline some of that stuff as well. So I just think it's really important that we don't take these things out of context and apply pathology where it doesn't belong.
Okay, and I think one thing we can say about the books is that it started a discussion.
Right.
So, on both sides. So, ladies, thank you very much.
One more guy.
Wait. We have a man. We have another man in the discussion. Okay.
I think we're not complete with this if we don't say the obvious, which is that some of us guys are a little simple. We know what we want in the bedroom, we get it, we're done. So no matter how much of the 50 Shades you really love, I want to tell any lady that's listening, be vocal, share what makes you happy, what works for you, and then you're a whole lot more likely to get it.
I think we have another show coming. There we go. Todd, thank you very much. If you'd like to continue the 50 Shades discussion, Crime Stoppers is actually hosting a breakfast with Dr. Amy at the Junior League Tea Room tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. For ticket information, go to crime-stoppers.org/events. And remember, go to Facebook and let us know your thoughts on 50 Shades of Grey. Is it mindless fantasy or could it lead women down a dark path? We'll share some of your comments later on in the show. Well, as we mentioned, 50 Shades is dominating so many things, some serious discussions like we just had, but now it's time for some lighter fare. Great Day's Courtney Perna is sporting several shades of gray at Sullivan's Steakhouse on Westheimer.
That's right, Deborah. I've got my gray dress and my gray tights and shoes, and I also have my gray blindfold. After the break, Charlotte and Ralph are going to test out this aphrodisiac menu.